Okay, we are recording. Thank you all for joining us for the last Student Success Series for Fall 2020. As I've always said, this has been a great series. We're so grateful to each of our success coaches for putting in all of the hard work and effort that they have this semester to make sure that this series was a success. We were also able to build out our success series page that hosts all of this information because many times we have great presentations and then we lose the information. We're not able to go back and refer. It's very difficult to catch everything in the moment. So this really helps us to kind of have an archive of information that we can refer to in those moments. And just making sure that we are always keeping in mind just everything that we need to focus on in order to be successful. So today is our final success series for the semester. It seems like the time just went by super fast. We're already at the Thanksgiving break. And I don't know about you guys, but I may not be experiencing test anxiety, but anxiety is always close by with everything that is going on. So I believe that we all can benefit from hearing this um, today from Troylynn, who will be presenting on test anxiety and giving us some valuable tips that we can use um, on just coping with anxiety in general. So we're excited about this last session, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Troylynn at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Christie. You always have a way of making us feel comfortable. So thank you for that, because we've all been dealing with some anxiety. I mean, we have 30 days left until, well, less than 30 days left until finals. And of course, this year has definitely presented us with challenges from hurricane interruptions and the election, the pandemic with the numbers and everything on the rise. It's just so much going on. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's our winter break. So let's just push on. All right, so we can use what we've learned to kind of carry over into that next year. And it's always going to be some type of challenge we're going to be presented with. So it's good to just be able to carry what we've learned into the next year. So I'm ready for that. So today we're going to be talking about test anxiety, and I'm going to share my screen. There we go. All right, so what is test anxiety? I didn't see too many students on just yet, but I'm sure we've all been in this situation before. I've studied this stuff already. Why can't I remember? I can't think. As soon as I leave the test, I remember everything. That is what you call test anxiety. So where does it come from? I'm sorry?
I can't see your screen if you've shared it.
I'm sorry. Let me see. Let me go back. I'm just talking. All right. There. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. All right. So where does this test anxiety come from? All right. Test anxiety is something that you've learned, and it can be unlearned. Some anxiety is good for you. So take a look at the chart. We have our performance levels over here, and then our stress levels down here. What does that mean? Everyone needs some stress to perform at the peak of their abilities. So at the beginning, as stress increases, so does performance. If stress keeps increasing, there is a point where your performance will drop off, and that's what you would call test anxiety. The goal is to reduce stress to get you back in balance, or to get you in a good balance. So there are physical factors such as relaxation, rest, ECT. You can rehearse, you can practice. And also what you think is what you get. So your physical factors, you have to take care of yourself. Basic health is the key to optimal performance. Eating right, sleeping right, and exercise will help your body to be prepared to be able to work. Stress spelled backwards is desserts. So you don't want to stress too much and overeat and things like that. You want to be able to take care of your body during these times when you're stressed. Not abusing your body also helps. Using alcohol, drugs, including caffeine, can alter your natural state, and it distracts from your ability to function. So you want to be careful about those things. Take care of yourself first. Beyond physical health, learning relaxation techniques allows you to better control your anxiety by teaching you how to slow your body's pace to a level where you can perform better. Here's a simple technique you can do anywhere. And this is my favorite part because I always need to do this. Breathing. All right. So everybody get comfortable, just in case you haven't today. You want to close your eyes. And if you're taking a test, you want to do this after you read all of your instructions. You want to take a deep breath. Hold the breath for a split second and then breathe out slowly. Repeat this a couple more times. And you want to breathe normally, but slowly for a couple of minutes, but not too long where, you're spending the whole time taking the test, you're breathing the whole time. You don't want to do that, but breathe normally for a couple minutes so you can just slow your body's pace to get you at a good pace to where you can function. Simple breathing. That's all there is to it. Most people will find that just slowing down feels better. As you practice doing this more, you will find your body will learn that you want it to relax. Just by getting comfortable, you will feel yourself slowing down. Next is practice. Here's the basic rule. The more you practice something, just the way you will have to perform it, the easier it will become to perform it. So knowing what type of test you're taking definitely helps too. So the types of tests, there are 3 basic kinds of tests. You have objective tests, essay tests, and concept learning. Those are your math tests with your word problems. Each test requires different kinds of practice. Objective tests, like multiple choice, true, false, short answer, and matching, ask you to know how pieces of information are connected. Like A, 1492 connects to B, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Best practice for objective tests are flashcards and mnemonic devices, such as PEMDAS, or what I learned, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Those are things that you can Google that could kind of help you out with that too. Practice for essay tests. Essay tests asks you to tell how things are related or not related to each other, or asks you to show you know content, like compare and contrast, describe and discuss. Making outlines and understanding main points and how they are connected works best for essay tests. Practice for concept learning. Concept learning asks you to show you know the concept by being able to use it. Math word problems, using a concept in a different way than what is discussed. So studying the concepts from different sources to see how they connect to each other works best. You can Google online practice tests based on the subjects that you are discussing in class. Like if you're taking a math test on linear equations, you can Google Khan Academy, you can YouTube different resources that might be helpful, that might teach it in a different way than what was discussed in class. That way you understand the material, but you're applying it in a different way, because you're not going to see those exact same problems on a test. Unfortunately, that's just not the way it works. They want to see that you know what you're doing. All right, so study first. Remember, the best way to reduce anxiety is to practice in the same way you will have to perform. But first, you have to study the material. This means you might want to study early enough to allow yourself time to practice. After you study the material and know it, Practice it like you're taking the test. Ask yourself the same types of questions as a test you will take, like a multiple choice, essay, concept learning. You can find a study partner. You guys can quiz each other. And you also want to time yourself. If you know that the instructor is giving you an hour and 15 minutes to take your test, you might want to time yourself with the information that you have, the practice test that you have, to see if you can answer the majority of the questions in that amount of time. As you practice, you want to look for information you are missing or what is weak for you. You also want to practice a little more. After you've identified weak areas, study more, then practice again. If you're unsure that you've studied everything you need to know, get an appointment with your instructor a few days before the exam. You want to take a list of things you know, and then you want to ask if the list is complete. So I don't know what in Western Civ, maybe you guys are studying, I don't know, but just whatever concept that you're working on, have like a little overview of what you know already. Make a little outline, ask the instructor, is this everything that that's gonna be covered on the test? Did I miss anything? Okay. What you think is what you get. The third part of reducing test anxiety is entirely within you. It's what you're thinking about that determines how you're going to perform. What you think will happen has a dramatic and often direct effect on how you behave. How many of us have ever been in that situation? I know I have. Okay. Thinking for positive results. Reduce and or eliminate negative messages and images about how you think you will do on a test, and replace those thoughts with more realistic and positive thoughts and images. Some examples. Now, keep in mind, all of these examples are based on the assumption that you've taken adequate time to prepare. I may not answer all the questions, but I can start with the ones I really know and move to the harder ones and do the best I can. Even if I feel a little shaky, I can still perform to the best of my ability and let my anxiety energize me. Seeing is believing. You can also imagine yourself doing a good job. Close your eyes and watch yourself feeling confident about your ability to perform as you walk to the test. Feel a sense of anticipation of wanting to start the test to show what you know. Watch yourself working through the test and feeling good about your performance. Imagine skipping a hard question for now and coming back to it later. Leave the test excited. So the first key to reducing test anxiety is good basic health. Eating, sleeping, exercising, and avoiding mood-enhancing foods and drinks like caffeine and alcohol. 2, studying in advance and practicing the way you will be tested allows you to be in the zone with your skills. Remember, just a small level of stress or just having a good balance of stress is sometimes good for you. Knowing how to study differently for different types of exams is critical to practicing appropriately. And number 3, learning a stress management technique can help you reduce the symptoms of anxiety and stress. Deep breathing, soothing imagery, quiet time, all help to teach your body to slow down so that you can perform to the best of your ability. Thinking realistically, positive thoughts, and practicing your performance positively in your mind increase the likelihood of good performance. Rehearsing disaster has the opposite effect. Learn to stop negative thinking and replace it with appropriate positive thoughts. All right, so here's some informational resources for test anxiety. I found this PowerPoint. I just went on Google and I Googled, and it was a lot longer. It was very lengthy, but they definitely have some really good resources on here, and it's from drbob.org. It's just resources from across the United States. So it's not just in Louisiana, but it's just different states as well. So I'd say take a look at it if you need some more info. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But my PowerPoint is done. So here we go. questions, comments?
If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat or you can unmute and ask.
Troylynn, I do have a question. A lot of my students that have test anxiety second guess themselves. Like they'll do a problem, but then they start second guessing, oh, wait a minute, should I have done it this way? Should I not have done it? And I try to tell them, just do it and then move on. But do you have any advice of how to approach that?
The second guessing, I know you teach the math instruction, but how to approach that with second guessing, I guess just tell them the way you practice it, that's the way you do it. And if they're confident in the way that they practice, it's just building that confidence. They just have to be confident in the way that they practice, and definitely skipping it and moving on, that works too. But they have to first be confident in the way that they practice it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So has anyone found this PowerPoint to be helpful? Do you think it would be helpful to students? How do you guys feel about that?
This is Allie. I think it'll be very helpful. For me, when I was in school, I hated time tests. So the breathing, like that was one of the things that I always had to do was the breathing exercises and kind of calm myself down. Also mnemonic devices. Whenever I had to remember a lot of things, I loved those. Those got me through school. So if they use them, it's very helpful.
I think so too. I was actually working with my son last night. They're doing parentheses in math in third grade. I don't remember seeing it in third grade, but this is what they're doing now. And so I was working with him on that. I was like, oh, they're trying to teach y'all the first part of PEMDAS. That's the P part, you know? And it was just kind of funny, but those mnemonic devices, they work. They really do. Even for music, every good boy does fine, you know, that type of stuff. It does work. I do find it very helpful.
I still remember Rainbow is Roy G. Biv.
What is that one, Miss Allie?
The Colors of the Rainbow, Roy G. Biv.
Oh yeah.
But I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
this
thank
is
you,
Lynn.
Ms.
I think I agree with the comments in the chat box that if students are able to watch that video, they're going to single in on things that they can wrap their arms around and say, I'm going to adapt that breathing technique whenever I start to feel anxious, or I'm going to use mnemonics. They're going to, and maybe hopefully a combination of all of the above so that they can, get the most out of that video and utilize those techniques as they go into tests for years to come. Revisit that video so they can use it again.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Thank you.
And I have to say, not just with test taking, like Dr. Montgomery said, there are times when I'm encountering lots of things in life when I need to do that whole breathing thing, because it literally can really calm you down and focus your thoughts so that you can face whatever you have to face at the moment. So super, super tips there.
That's especially useful for it's especially useful for faculty and staff when dealing with difficult students. If I know that I'm walking into a difficult meeting, I will sit in my office and take a few deep breaths because I need to bring myself down, especially if it's a situation that I've had to deal with over and over again. There's a certain level of frustration there. Right. I have to bring myself down because if you walk into the situation with that anxiety already high, it just takes something very minor to kind of set you off in a sense or create a certain tone in your demeanor. And so, I use the breathing quite often to just bring myself down because I anticipate that the conversation could go a certain way. So I want to make sure that I don't add to that
Mhm.
flame. In
It's
a
a
sense.
simple technique that can be such a game changer
Yeah,
in the outcome.
I agree. That's why I said the breathing, that's my favorite part because I need to remember to breathe all the time. So I get to doing everything under the sun. I'm like, oh, did I breathe today? Woosah, get this out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any final comments from anyone or questions? Someone said that they count to 10. That's another good exercise. Counting forward to 10 and backward to 10 is good for anxiety. And even when you're breathing, making sure that you're breathing through your nose and blowing out through your mouth is a good way to make sure it's a controlled breath. And it really helps you to kind of bring your anxiety down. We had a student here on the Lacombe campus, I think it was last semester, who was having a severe anxiety attack in the hallway. And when they called me out, that's what we did. Had her to breathe in through her nose, blow out through her mouth, and that began to bring her out of that anxiety attack. So it's a conscious effort that helps you to focus on the breath and helps you to get to a place of calm. Okay, well, if nothing else, I would like to definitely thank you all for participating in our success series. I know that several of you have been a part of the success series from the very beginning. So we definitely appreciate you all engaging with this. For those of you who are instructors, make sure you're sharing this information with your students. Because we feel that it will be very valuable to them. I'm also going to pull up the screen because I do see a few people who are on the call who had not been on before. So I want to make sure that you know exactly where to go to access the resources now that the success series is over. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so if you go to our website, when you go to our northshorecollege.edu website, you click on the students tab. Under the students tab is success coach at the very bottom. And then from there, you can see our success coach program. It tells you who the success coaches are on each of our campuses. And then there's an archive of videos. On the right-hand side, we had our 2020 Chancellor's Town Hall with students, and he answered several student questions. If you click on those links, it will take you to the clips from those, the session from those videos. And then at the right underneath that is our Wellness Week videos from our Wellness Week presentations on various topics. And then all the way at the bottom, we have our Fall 2020 Success Series videos and handouts that we have for those events. And then also the Spring 2020 Success Series videos along with the handouts. So the topics are listed there. So it makes it very easy. If a student just wants to learn about perseverance, they can go to that video. Stress management, they can go to that video. Studying in an online environment, they can go straight to that video. So make sure that you guys are becoming familiar with that resource also, so that you can refer students to it easily as they need assistance. Okay. Well, if nothing else, thank you all so much. We appreciate you tuning in and being a part of the Fall 2020 Success Series. And we look forward to engaging with you all in the spring. And if we don't see you before next week, everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you, you too.